Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet a kitchen sponge. It's going to be extra thick, thicker than a dishcloth, and I'm using Premier Home cotton and polyester yarn. It's 80% or excuse me, 85% cotton and 15% polyester. And I have another one that I'm ready to finish off, but I'll show you guys how to do that when we get there. And that one is with sugar and cream, 100% cotton. So either one of these yarns would work. This ends up making a really, really thick and no holes fabric. I'll show you on this one that I'm working on. It's really, really thick. There's no holes. It's almost as if it's double, but you're only going to use one strand, and it's really thick piece of cloth. And this one's 100% cotton. But we're going to take this, we're going to fold it in half like that and make a kitchen sponge with it, and this is going to be awesome. Anyway, to get started, we're going to make a slip knot, and in case you don't know how to do that, oh, my crochet hook I'm using is a 5mm as well. That. And then I'm going to take my crochet hook. I'm going to go in here like that. And I'm just going to pull it down. Okay. Oops. That's how I do my slip knots. But if you have a better way, then go for it. So this is using a single stitch and a chain. So first of all, we're going to chain 20. And if you don't know how to chain, we're going to go under the yarn. Tilt my camera. Okay, we're going to go under the yarn and we're going to pull it through the loop. That would be one chain. Grab the yarn, pull it through the loop. That's 2 chains. We're going to do this until we have 20 chains. Okay, so I have 20 chains. Should look something like this. All right, so now I'm going to go in from the second chain on the hook. So this, where the loop is coming out of, it will be the first chain. We're going to go into the second chain, and we're just going to make a single. So we're going to go down in there. We're going to grab our yarn, pull it through. So you have 2 loops on your hook, and then we're going to grab the yarn and pull it through the 2 loops. And that's one single crochet. And we're going to do that all the way across, and that should be 19 singles. So we're going to go down again in the next stitch here, like that. Grab the yarn, pull it through. Grab the yarn and pull it through the 2 chains. Okay, I'll do it one more time. All right. So we're going to do that until the other end, till we get to the other end, and that should be 19. Okay, when you get to the end, your piece should look like this. So now we're going to chain 1. So chain 1. And we're going to turn our work. And now we're going to work in the back loops only. So I'm going to show you, in case you don't know, on top of your piece, all those little V's, those are the stitches. And to work in the whole stitch, we would be going through like this little hole right here to get those 2 loops on there. But we only want the back loop. So we're going to skip this first loop and we're going to go into the back loop like that. Okay, we're going to work in back loops only. And another way, especially when you first turn, is if you hold your work like this, then, well, then you can see, just go into this V like that, and that's your back loop. Grab your work, pull it through, and then grab your yarn and pull it through the two, and that will be your first single. And we're going to do that all the way across in back loops only. So I'll do it again. I'm going to go in, you can see, I'm going to go in this loop right here only. I'm going to grab the yarn, pull it through, and then grab the yarn and pull it through the two loops. That's another single. So we're going to do it again. We're going to go in the back loop only right here. Grab the yarn, pull it through, grab the yarn and pull it through. Okay? And I'll meet you at the other end. We're going to back loops only all the way across. Okay, and when you've reached the other side, your piece should look like this on the front. And as you notice, you're going to have these front loops here from the row right here. We're going to be working in those in row 3. In row 3, we're going to go in back loops only, but we're going to go in the back loop here, like that. And then we're going to go into the front loop of this previous row, like that. And then we would grab our yarn, pull it through all these. So let me show you. I'm going to get my needle together here. Okay, so when you get to the end of the row, you're going to chain 1 and turn. Chain 1 and then turn. But we're going to go into this back loop right here. And then we're going to go into the front loop from the previous row right in here. And we're going to grab our yarn and we're going to pull it through both of those like that. And then both of these two loops on top. Okay, I'm going to do that again. Back loops only for the next one. I'm going to go in here and then in here. Grab the yarn and pull it through. Grab the yarn and pull it through the two loops. And I find that if you lay it on its side like that, then this previous row, all those loops stick out. So it's easy to kind of guide your crochet hook where you're going with it. So again, we're going to go in here like that, and then we're going to go into this other loop from the previous row right here. Grab our yarn, pull it through. Grab your yarn and pull it through those two loops. And we're going to do that all the way across till we get to the other side. At the end of row 3, you should have this, and notice there's your next row. That part that's popping out, that's your next row of loops that you're going to go in. You're going to go in the back loop up here and then down into this next loop. And we're going to continue doing that just as we did in row 3. We're going to continue doing that back and forth all the way until the end when we have finished. Now, usually I can count how many rows I've done by looking at the stitches, but I don't know if it's because you go through this loop and that loop to kind of scrunch those rows together or whatever, but it's kind of hard for me to tell how many rows I've done. I want to say 12 rows on this one, but I'm not positive. So, probably almost the length of a crochet hook. So I'm sorry I can't be more specific. Or like you can count maybe these little pieces of yarn going this way across as a row. Let's try that. So there'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, about 12 rows. And that's counting these little pieces of yarn that's going straight across as one row. So, and then it should be this big. So, yeah, just chain 1 and repeat row 3. So to keep going, we're going to chain 1 and turn, and then we're going to go right down in this one right here like that, and then in this front loop from the previous row right here like that for our first stitch. This is row 4. All the way across, and then when you get to the other side, you're going to chain 1 and turn, so on until you get to the end. So when you get to the end and you're ready to tie it off, okay, I got my yarn needle, and while I was at it, I found my little tape measure too. So this is going to measure about 6.5 inches across, and about 4.5 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fasten this off. And by doing that, the way I do it is I just chain 2. 1, 2. And I cut the yarn. And I just pull my crochet hook out like that and pull this tight. And it made a knot before I wanted it to, but that's fine. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this. I'm going to fold it in half like that. And we're going to sew all the way around like this, and we can put these strings inside. And you want a good length because you want to be able to go all the way around. I'm always pretty generous with that. Okay, so I'm just going to fold this tail down towards the inside of what's going to be inside, because this is going to be folded and closed. Okay, so then I'm just going to fold it in half like that where it's pretty even. And I'm going to take my yarn needle, and on the inside, I'm going to go from the inside out into this little stitch on the corner here. I'm going to pull my yarn through. And I'm just going to tie it in a knot. It's the easiest way for me to do it, is tie it in a knot like this, because the tail's going to go inside the sponge anyway. This is a dish sponge, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure that my tail is folded in like that, and corner to corner here like that. And make sure that tail is put in like that. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is coming out of here, I'm going to go in from the back side, and I'm going to get both of those loops like this, and I'm going to go back in here like that. And I'm going to just sew across all the way around until it's sewn closed. So again, make sure my yarn piece is tucked in there, and I'm going to come in from the back again. See where I left off. So I'm going to go in here to those 2 loops, whoop, like that, and then through those 2 loops like that. Okay, and then again for the next loops, I'm going to wrap this back towards the back, and I'm going to go in here and then here all the way through, pull it. Okay, so I'm going to sew all the way around, and I'll meet you guys back here when I'm done. I have like one more stitch right here, one hole to sew up. So I'm just going to go back in here and finish sewing this up, and then I'm going to tie it off with a knot. Okay, so now I'm going to knot it. So I'm just going to go in here like that, and pull that out a little bit. And then I'm just going to go through this loop. I always do it twice. And then I'm going to pull it till that knots up like that. And then I'm just going to pull it and hide it inside of the sponge. So when I cut it, I'm going to leave a good enough tail, like so. And then I'm just going to take my crochet hook, and I'm going to go in anywhere. It doesn't matter where. I'm just going to go in anywhere, and then come out where that string, where I tied it off. Right there, and then I'm just going to grab the yarn, and I'm going to pull it through, and just kind of lose it down in the sponge. And that is it. That is it. And it's a little time consuming, at least I think. Maybe it's just because it's the first one that I made, and I started this last night, and I sat here for maybe 40 minutes crocheting it, until I finally gave up. I just wanted to call it a night because I had to get to bed. But so then I decided to start this other one with you guys to show you how to start it, and then finish this one off to show you how to finish it. But it's double thickness from a regular washcloth, not quite as thick as your store-bought sponge, but this is going to work perfect. Now, I came across this stitch by watching somebody's video where they were making dish scrubbies, and they were using the Yarn Bee yarn, which I've never used the yarn, but they say it's kind of scratchy because it's like a nylon or polyester or something. But I don't have any of that yarn, and so I just wanted to know what that stitch would do with cotton yarn, and I think this is going to work great. Machine washable, of course, cotton yarn, so it might shrink a little. So maybe you might want to make yours a little bit bigger. But what's good about this pattern is no matter how long you make your base chain, now I did chain 20, but if you want to make it a little bit wider and a little bit longer to allow for shrinkage, you could chain 25 or 24 or 28. The amount that you for your base chain isn't going to change the pattern. So that's what's nice about it. And I can't wait to try this. And I'm going to finish this one up. And I think this is going to work great. So I hope you had fun making a kitchen sponge with me today. And I hope it works out great for you, because I know it's going to work out great for me. And I'll see you back here next time on Survive with What You Know. Good night. Have a good day.